What's going on, guys? It's Thomas and PJ back again for the second ever episode of Nintendo Tonight, the only Nintendo themed podcast with tonight in the title, yet we often don't even record at nighttime. I mean, I think it's like evening for both of us right now, and depending on the time we upload this and what time zone you're in, it could be anything for you guys. But regardless, we got about 45 minutes of awesome Nintendo stuff to talk today. First, we're going to be talking about some Switch Pro goodness, as you guys probably saw in the title, and just kind of, theorizing about that. Then we're going to be looking ahead and discussing, 2020, the possibility of no direct, what's even going on there. And then last but not least, we're going to be answering some of your questions that you guys left in the comments to the first episode. So, I mean, if you guys left a question, make sure to stay tuned because we might be answering it later on in the episode.
Yeah, and and with your little intro, I saw a comment on the last video, and somebody was just like, "How are you gonna call this Nintendo Tonight when like you're posting at 4 p.m.?" And I was like, that is a good point, but it's not like
Yeah.
exactly optimal for like our recording or not our recording, our uploading time.
Yeah, we just kind of post whenever the most people watch, and the most people generally watch around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, I mean, that's when we've been posting, but it's not really a huge deal that it's called Nintendo Tonight and we don't post at night, right? Like, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think
Yeah,
it's a
I
it's a
mean,
game
I mean,
changer.
hey, I mean, like the title sounds good, the graphic looks good with the just like the colors and like everything just kind of goes well. So like, you know what? If it's like a couple hours from the actual term of tonight, hey man, is what it is.
Yeah. It is what it is. All right. Yeah, I mean, once again, thank you guys so much for all the support. Just gonna answer some stuff that we saw, like logistics of the podcast. Generally, we're gonna try and upload these once every 2 weeks. We're gonna have episodes with guests, and these episodes are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. So yeah, if you are on YouTube right now and Spotify works better for you, then head on over there. It should be up there as well. Same with Apple Podcasts. If you're on YouTube, then in the description of this video you're on right now, you should see the Nintendo Tonight Twitter. If you like the podcast, make sure to follow us on there because we post, like, hey, ask us some questions, respond to this tweet, and we'll talk about them in the podcast, or ask you guys for podcast topics you want to hear, or let you guys know when we're recording a new episode and all that stuff. So if you want to stay up to date with the podcast, definitely follow us on there.
Yep, I've actually been more active on like the Nintendo Tonight Twitter than I have on my actual Twitter. So
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
I don't know.
That's
It's just a vibe. It's like so many more people like respond and interact with me compared to my normal Twitter. So it's just like, hey man, I'll use this one more. Just like it's just like
yeah. I get
I
it.
don't
I
know.
got you.
I don't know
It
because
works.
our
It works,
Twitter
man.
follows are very they're not very comparable. I think you have like 600 more than me, and I think my 200, I think at least 80% are the ones from the Smashcast channel that I obviously don't post on anymore. So it's
Yeah, I mean, dude, Twitter, like the thing with Twitter is I used to never advertise my Twitter in my videos. I used to never ask for likes or
I know, I remember that.
advertise
Yeah.
Twitter or Discord. And like I did that because it just annoys me so much when other YouTubers do it because it's like we know, we get it. Because I always thought, hey, if I like a YouTuber, I'm already going to go follow them on
Mhm.
Twitter. I'm going to take that initiative and like the video. I'm going to take that initiative and join their Discord. But
Yeah.
the thing is, that's just not how most people think because like the second I started being like, "Hey guys, follow me on Twitter," even though I it shows up at the end of all of my videos and it's in the description of all the videos and it's linked on the channel page and whatever. So you would think people would already know about it. The second I started mentioning it in the videos, like dude, new followers left and right. So it's unfortunate, but
Hmm.
that's why YouTubers, I mean, I get like I don't know why I thought there was no reason the other YouTubers were like plugging their stuff. Of course there's a reason. I'm I'm just an
Yeah.
idiot, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
it's the
got on
smart
you
thing to
about
do.
that. Yeah, I got on you
Yeah.
about that pretty early, but we're big chilling with that now. So obviously, let's go past the intro now and let's actually get to the real topics, and we'll just start off with the Switch Pro ideas. So there's been rumors lately that there's been a Nintendo Switch Pro in the works, reported or not reportedly, but just rumors you hear at Nintendo and just like
Yeah.
people around and stuff. And just like mock-ups of like something like a double screened Switch and like just that kind of weird stuff. And like I don't know, it's really confused me that like they would even consider doing some sort of style like that, like with a double screen, like literally like the picture that I saw, it was like double screen, but like normal Switch. It was like a diagram or something, or
Yeah,
whatever
I
you
mean,
call that. I forget.
like a patent
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yes. That is what I meant.
Yeah. I mean, to explain like exactly what it is, obviously there have been Switch Pro rumors pretty much since I would say 2018, like early
Hmm.
2018. We've been getting like heavy rumors about that from credible sources. But then this all kind of came to a head as of I think a couple of weeks ago when the Nintendo Switch firmware was updated, and in that like code for the firmware, hackers and data miners found, I think, references to a new SDK or a new
Yep,
like something, a new Switch version, which includes the like two screens, which is a very interesting topic that I kind of do want to discuss.
yep.
Obviously, when everyone thinks two screens, you pretty much assume that it has to be some sort of folding console because there's no real
Yeah.
reason to have a two screen console that doesn't fold. And everyone instinctively jumps to the DS style of uh folding consoles where you can fold it up and then both the screens are kind of facing inwards. But what if it was a Switch where like you see these incredible folding you see these
Phones.
incredible like folding phones, right? Where
Hmm.
you have like a big like iPad or like tablet sized phone, and then you can fold it to put it like into your pocket. What if we had something like that with the Switch? It sounds crazy, and I don't know if Nintendo would do it, especially if they would adopt it this early. But I guess the Switch itself is so like hybrid and so kinetic in the way that it moves, like the Joy-Cons attach, detach. We take it all for granted now, but like if you think about it compared to the like any other console that exists, the Switch is very like movement oriented. It would not totally surprise me. It wouldn't be incredibly out of the blue if the next like if the Switch Pro somehow folded so that maybe you could prop it up kind of in a like if you're propping up two playing cards to make like a house of cards sort of thing. So that way maybe you could do split screen multiplayer without like being right next, like the screens are literally like facing opposite
Yep.
directions, so there's no such thing as screen cheating. I actually did a concept. I never told you about this, PJ. I did a concept trailer of this exact thing with a friend of mine, but we never ended up posting it, or I never ended up completing it for the channel because we did it for a project, something else we were doing. I forget what, but it was like more of like a it was supposed to be like a commentary on like how technology would like advance. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe it'll be an April Fool's upload for next year. I'm not exactly sure, but um yeah, I mean, we talked about this folding Switch thing as if it was like a impossible, never going to happen sort of thing in this joke concept I did with my friend, but seeing this two screen Switch thing, it's hey man, I mean, it's possible, and that's the interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of a Switch Pro, I think like I don't know if that's what you think of it, like what it would be, but that whole concept just would not make any sense to me whatsoever. Because when you think of the DS, like all of the DSs had like stylus on it, and like if you had a double screen Switch, like and you had a stylus like that whole idea I feel like is just like stylus oriented, like with the touchscreen and stuff, and like how wide the actual Switch is like compared to like the original like DSs, like even the biggest ones like 3DS XLs or whatever you call them. I don't know,
Yeah,
I stopped following the DS after I bought my Aqua 3DS, but anyway,
yeah. I mean,
it's just
I
like a
agree.
weird concept for me. Like I think of like the Switch Pro, if that would be a thing, I think of that as like what your concept trailer was, with like it having to be required to be docked always, and it be like 4K, and like just like your concept, like that whole thing was just like good, and like the replaceable kind of whatever you call those
So,
on
like
the Joy
buttons.
Cons. Yeah.
Yeah,
The replaceable buttons for like GameCube controllers or like stuff like that, and like actually release a virtual console, and release it during this next console gen, because like the Xbox had their event or whatever you want to call that the day we're recording this, and the PS5, I'm sure we'll hear stuff like soon about it. So I almost wonder if like that sort of idea with like 4K and all that stuff, like being in a Switch Pro being released like during this time to compete. And I know normally Nintendo doesn't like compete with like Xbox and PlayStation, because like Xbox and PlayStation's like release dates are always like almost the exact same, but like Nintendo has always gone their own way. Like you've said it best. Like I think last episode or maybe even like a video we did before, and you were talking about how like Nintendo always takes like a step forward, but they also take like a step backward, if that makes sense, in some like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some things that they just do with their
Yeah.
consoles and games in general.
Yeah, I think that was I don't even know if that was a video. I think that could have just been us talking. But I said something along the lines of like I think it was in reference to Animal Crossing and
Mm,
how like that game like it feels like Nintendo takes two step forwards. It like they take two steps forward and then one step back, or you could even say like two steps forward and one step like sideways. But it
yeah,
never seems like they're just they can never just have like something that's oh that's really smart and I do not see any potential downside. Like Nintendo Labo, that was like a smart idea. Like on its own, that is a smart idea. But then you notice that they're charging $80 for it, and the mini games themselves are like half baked. So it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, it's one step forward in terms of innovation and creativity, but it's one step back in terms of who is your like demographic. Like, are you only trying to go for like the really little kids? Because no one over the age of like 9 is going to play these games for more than 3 minutes.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool to have a Switch Pro kind of idea. Um, and I remember this was like highly rumored before we got the Switch Lite announced. Um, but obviously the Switch Lite came out, which I think is like really great, by the way, just for like the Switch's like library of consoles, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it was really good. I would just like to see a Switch Pro because like docked only with that kind of like Xbox style, I guess, and PlayStation style. Because like as of now, they're not portable or anything. I don't
Yeah.
expect them to be. So I think that would be a good idea on Nintendo's part. Well, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
I no, I agree. My exact like what I've wanted Nintendo to do as soon as they announced the Switch and like people started thinking, okay, what for the eventual like console revisions? What I've wanted them to do is I want them to release the normal Switch. Okay, check on that. They've obviously done that. I
Yeah.
want them to release a portable only Switch at a cheaper price point meant for like littler kids. Check on that. That's exactly what the Switch Lite is.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to release a Switch Pro that is permanently docked, right? Because that way they can give it more power and whatnot, but they can still keep a manageable price point, like $400.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're in for next. Then you get into the argument, oh, it doesn't switch, but the Switch Lite doesn't either. So I don't think Nintendo really cares. I think they could name it something like the Switch. Honestly, the Switch Pro even works, something like that, and then people will just like the people who want that more powerful experience will buy it because it's exactly what like that's what it is. It's a more powerful experience. And then a couple years after that Switch Pro, I want Nintendo's final like big console revision for the Switch to just be a completely like upgraded version of the base hybrid Switch. So it can, it can be docked in maybe a new like dock Pro or whatever. It can still be in handheld, and it's just kind of the best of everything, right? So it's got the power that your undockable Switch has, but it's got the portability of like the Switch or the Switch Lite. I mean that's my goal for Nintendo. That's my dream is so that then you have like the base Switch line, which is the Switch Lite, Switch, and Switch Pro.
And
So you
like an
have your
upgraded line.
yeah. Yeah, so you have your permanently docked, your hybrid, and your permanently portable. And then just like a couple years after that, as like a final nail in the coffin type thing, like, hey, we did the hybrid, then we did, the left end of that or the right end of that, like the two sides of it, whatever you want to call, the portable only and the
Right.
the
Right.
hybrid, the dock only or whatever. And then like as that final console revision, they just go back to the original, idea of the Switch, which is the whole switching aspect, and just like completely nail it with all the like information they had from the first one. I
Right.
think that would be the absolute perfect way for them to do this. Not
Yep.
100% sure if it will happen, although they did just come out and say today that they have they consider the Switch to be entering the middle of its life cycle, and you could take this one of two ways. You could say that means they think the Switch is like halfway over. But the way I take that is when I view a console's life cycle, I view it in kind of three steps. There's the start, there's the middle, and then there's the end. And the start, this for let's I don't know, relate this to like the Wii U. I think the Wii U came out in like 2012,
Yep.
maybe early 2013. I'm not exactly sure. I think the start of that is like the start of the Wii U was like a year, and then the middle of the Wii U was from like start of 2014 to like end of 2015. And then the end of the Wii U was like 2016, where they released like Paper Mario Color Splash and like one other small game. But then if Nintendo is considering the start of the Switch's lifespan to be from 2017 to now, then the middle of the Switch's lifespan could be 2020 to 2023. And then the end of the Switch's lifespan could be 2023 to 2025. That would be a what 8-year lifespan for the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure Nintendo has stated in the past that they want the Switch to last a long time, and it feels like it too, because it feels like the Switch is the culmination of Nintendo's 100+ years as a company. Like it just feels like they put their all into this console, and the way that people are responding, they're obviously going to want to drag it out for as long as possible with these revisions.
Yeah.
So it's possible, I think. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said a lot. I think the whole force switch idea is an interesting one, but when you think of a Switch Pro and like just the possibilities you can do with that, you got to also think like, are they gonna make like special, like specific only for Switch Pro games, like with the updated
Yeah,
graphics and everything? You got to think about that, and then that
yeah,
also kind of contradicts your idea about the second hybrid Switch.
uh-huh.
Um, so I think, yeah, I think the Dock Pro idea that was in your concept and like that you just said, I think that's a good one.
Hmm.
Um, and the whole Switch lifespan thing, like with with that kind of idea, if you like, if Nintendo wants to take the next step, so like saying that the Switch Pro is like our next console, that's like a Wii U like V2. Like it might be like the same thing because like we haven't had like consecutively like successful like Nintendo home consoles since like I guess since like the GameCube and Wii, but like I wouldn't.
GameCube wasn't successful.
Yeah.
GameCube before the Wii U, GameCube was the lowest selling Nintendo system. I mean, it was successful in terms of critical
Yeah, no,
reception,
like
but
yeah, no, that no, that's what I mean. Like,
okay, yeah,
like sale like an Uber like huge console like the Wii and like the Switch. Like I'm waiting for them to have like back to back like really good systems like that. And
hmm,
naming the next system Switch Pro or something like what would be after like the Switch and Switch Lite line. I think that would be a mistake. I think they need to figure out another way to kind of advance and like obviously we're in the middle of the lifespan of the Switch according to Nintendo. So we'll see what they do next in this next console gen, and yeah,
yeah,
I think that's good.
yeah. I mean, dude, we covered a lot of ground there.
Yep.
I think we're generally in agreement. As in like we're not exactly sure what they're gonna do next. We have some ideas, but generally it's just gonna be interesting to see what they do. I want to answer one question though before we jump on into what else Nintendo could do like just this year in terms of games.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of people, I mean, pretty much ever since I started this channel, have been commenting, "Oh, what do you guys plan on doing after the Switch, is done?" And I figured now would be as good a time as any to quickly answer that. Just because the channel is called Switch Stop, so it kind of presents a bit of a dilemma. I think the honest answer is we do not know, nor do we really care. I mean, it's a problem, but it's a problem for us like 5 years down the line. If you look at how Nintendo is gonna like treat the Switch, like who's to say that they don't release like a Switch U or something like that, where their next console doesn't
Mm,
have something to do with the Switch? Like when I started this channel, it was originally supposed to literally be something that I did for a week and then threw away because I was bored for a week before my like school started. So obviously I was not thinking long term. I wasn't even thinking short term. I was thinking
mm-hmm.
next 7 days and that's it. So I mean now obviously yeah, it's like okay, well eventually we're gonna have to
Yep.
talk about this. But for now, I mean, I don't think we really care. So yeah, anyone who comments, asking, what are you guys gonna do in your channel? Because I normally see about one of those comments
Mm-hmm.
per video, to be
Yep.
honest. I'll just link them to this because we don't really know, nor do we really care. It's a problem for future Thomas and PJ.
Yeah. So I before our next topic, I just want to get a quick answer from you since we're over the time limit just a little bit. So I wanted you to kind of answer this quickly. So
Mhm.
about the Switch Pro point, how I talked about how there could be like different only for Switch Pro games. Like, what's
Oh
your
yeah.
opinion on that?
Okay.
Just really quick.
really quickly, because we do try and set time limits per segment
Hmm.
just so we don't end up rambling. But Switch Pro specific games. Okay, what I think they would do with my like four console revision thing is I think what they would do is they'd have the Switch and the Switch Lite can play whatever games interchangeably. The Switch Pro, which is permanently docked, you like not handheld at all, would be able to play all Switch and Switch Lite games and would be able to run them natively at a higher resolution, maybe even a higher frame rate. And then if devs wanted, they could update their games for Switch Pro so that like, hey, if Panic Button wanted to go back and add in like Doom stuff and Wolfenstein stuff so that those games could run better on Switch Pro and like have upgraded textures, that would be fine. Where I think it gets dicey is saying that, hey, there's games that you can only play on Switch Pro, but they did this before with the new Nintendo 3DS XL line.
Right.
So what I think they would end up doing is they basically say, yeah, there are games that you could only play on Switch Pro, which will probably get some people pissed, but then they basically just don't show off any of those games. That's like I can only think of like two games that are exclusive to the new Nintendo 3DS XL line. So I don't think they show off any, or I don't think they really show any big games that are exclusive to the Switch Pro thing, just because there's already been like 50 million Switches sold. If you're making a game, you want it to be playable on everything. But there will definitely be like that game. Maybe it's even Breath of the Wild 2, maybe it's Metroid Prime 4, but there will definitely be that game where like it's playable on the old Switch, but all the promotional material uses the Switch Pro. All the trailers, like in the corner, it'll say footage captured on Switch Pro, like all that sort of thing, just to kind of push like, hey, if you want to play this game the definitive way, it's got to be on the Switch Pro because we got more power on this thing, better graphics, better frame rate, better resolution, all that sort of thing. I mean, that's my quick answer, but
Yep.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. We can definitely move on to our next topic. So recently, a rumor has kind of come about how obviously we're in this world pandemic with coronavirus, and apparently there's not going to be a direct slash Nintendo Treehouse this summer. Obviously,
Boo!
yeah.
Boo! That sucks.
Yeah, around the E3 time every year, obviously Nintendo likes to do a treehouse, show off a bunch of new games in their direct beforehand, obviously like play the games and kind of like, show people what it's about and everything. So I'm really disappointed if this is true. Obviously it is what it is with, the world that we live in right now, but like damn, like there's a lot of
Bro.
games I was looking forward to seeing, like the new, like just seeing the new Smash character. Like I'm a huge like Smash Bros speculation fan, so like that's a thing. I wanted to see like Metroid Prime, Bayonetta news, like release dates and stuff like that, and just like any other like big game news, like 3D World Deluxe. Like maybe we get news about that Breath of the Wild like sequel. Like could we see like Odyssey 2, Galaxy 3? And like the Mario 35th anniversary games
Bro,
rumored
I'm
as well that
crying.
we
Crying at
made
the
1,000
corner, bro.
videos about. um yeah, all of that could potentially have been in this like summer direct slash treehouse. So like this sucks, man, if this is true.
Are you kidding me? Dude, I'm pissed. I'm actually like when I saw that rumor, I told myself, okay, you can't put too much stock into it. It's just a
Hmm.
rumor. But like we are the channel that made like 7 videos based off that Mario.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, I think the difference is that those videos were more of like speculation, like, hey, this is just a fun topic to discuss. No
Yeah, I
E3
felt
stuff.
like we
Again,
weren't
it's just
milking
not a
it
fun.
though. Yeah.
You felt that we were or weren't?
Weren't. No, no, no. Like I,
Yeah,
I
no,
was
I
actually
I
like
agree.
interested in that like topic and everything about, like
Yeah.
Sunshine, Galaxy, like those are two of my favorite games like ever. So like
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people saw that we did so much Mario content and they were like, "Oh, they're milking the rumor." But like, you
mhm.
guys got to understand, we make videos on what interests us. That's why there's really not much Animal Crossing stuff, despite the fact I've been playing that game a ton. There's really not much Zelda stuff on the channel. Like, those series are cool, but we just don't have the same passion for them that we do for like the Smash Bros, the Mario Kart, the Mario's, the three, like specifically 3D Mario. I think that's the series that we both like the most in terms
Yeah.
of like our shared
Yep.
passion for it.
Definitely.
So when there's a rumor saying that every past 3D Mario is going to get re-released, like I like we're gonna make a bunch of videos on that, and I mean that's what we did. But basically, to turn this back to the treehouse to the direct,
Yep.
bro, my heart is destroyed because I could have sworn we'd be getting. I was on the fence. I was on the side that was saying we'd be getting this like direct this E3 replacement direct thing earlier than the than when it would have been. Like I was thinking we were going to get one late May, and then to see this rumor that says no, 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 not until late July or August. Like I was of the
Yeah,
mindset
I
3D
saw
World
August, but
Deluxe.
yeah, yeah.
I was of the mindset 3D World Deluxe was going to be coming out in July
Yeah.
because I thought they would announce it in like late May, early June, and hey, it would come out in July, like a late July, early August, because that feels like a summer game. But man, man, that is just it hurts not only as a Nintendo fan, but as a content creator, dude. Like the fact that we might not be getting a new direct until August.
It's actually going to be like really huge. Like the fact that we're not going to get any news for that long. Like
Bro, we haven't had an
I
actual
just
Nintendo Direct since September. Think about
like
that.
I just don't even know like what we would do, but yeah, I mean it just really sucks, man. Like if this is true, which like I'm going to assume it's true cuz it really does make sense, right? I
Hmm.
mean, like last episode we talked about or we joked about how like, they could have the treehouse on a Zoom call or something. And
Yeah.
like it's kind of a funny idea to think about, but it's pretty unrealistic. And like the fact that like I don't even know like for holiday games like what they would do. Like I
Dude,
expected a 3D Mario or even
yeah,
like a Zelda game. Like
yeah.
that's kind of a long shot because Breath of the Wild 2, but you know, um
Dude,
like
it hurts.
I expected one of the two like this holiday, but I guess maybe
It
not.
honestly,
I
yeah,
don't know.
dude, it's so well. The thing is, like, here, I actually I screenshot this on my phone. Let me pull it up. It's the investors report. They talk about the upcoming games they have, and normally this list is like a page long because they always. That's why we typically do get March directs is so that or March or April directs is so that they can announce a ton of stuff so that the investors when they go, hey investors, these are all the games we have upcoming. The investors don't like the investors actually get to see a bunch of games and that sort of thing. The games we have upcoming as of right now are Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, a remaster of a JRPG, which I know it's beloved by many, but it's not going to sell super well. I mean,
And we
it's
don't
not
really
gonna be
care
like a
for it either.
yeah. Well, personally, we don't care for it, but like
Yeah.
this is a topic for another video, but JRPG fans are always like, "Oh my god, this game is doing amazing," like that sort of thing. Like by the amount of people I saw talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses, I swear to you, I thought that game sold like 10 million units. It sold 2 million units. 2 million. And people were like freaking out like, "Oh my god, this game is like I'm not talking on the quality of the game at all. My sister played it and loved it. I'm just saying in terms of like JRPG fans often are like, "Oh, this game is like selling phenomenally." And in the grand scheme of things, I mean, 2 million units is certainly nothing to scoff at, but it's
Oh yeah.
definitely not going to be something that the investors do a double take on, like they might for Splatoon 2, which just hit 10 million, or Pokemon Sword and Shield, which outsold all 3DS titles. Anyway, Jesus. Let me get back to this list. Let me get so Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition coming out the 29th of May this month. Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics coming out the 5th of June, so like a week after
Uh,
Xenoblade.
yeah.
Bravely Default 2, another one of those JRPGs that is just not going to sell incredible. Coming out sometime in 2020. Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, and Breath of the Wild 2, all TBA. So probably not coming 2020 because I feel like they would have given it a year for the investors at this point.
Oh, the
That
fact we're
is
not getting at least one of those just kills me
that
though.
that is brutal. The fact that we have 3 games known for 2020, one of them is a remaster of a Wii game, one of them is essentially a remaster of a DS game that's also just a mini game collection, and most of those mini games are like card games, and one of them is Bravely Default 2, which is just another JRPG. I know I'm gonna get hate for saying that. It's a JRPG. It could be an incredible JRPG, but it's a JRPG nonetheless. It doesn't appeal to that many people. Nintendo, what are you doing? And then on top of that, they're delaying this like direct thing until like August. Like I can't
Oh.
tell if they're joking. Like this
Mm.
has to be some sort of cruel, sick joke played by Koizumi and the heads of Nintendo because there's no feasible way that they think that this is a good strategy. There's no way.
I think that it's not them like thinking kind of like strategically English, oh my god, about like releasing these games. I think it's obviously like the just like the coronavirus and everything. Like I feel like we would be in a lot better like state like as Nintendo fans if this didn't happen, but it has, and it is really tough for us. And just speaking from like our point of view, like as like we kind of touched on earlier, like the actual amount of content, like we're almost relying on the fact that we're gonna get some news because like kind of talking about like these remasters over and over again, like right now I'm not complaining about it, but like if this goes on for like months at a time, then it's gonna be like it's just
I
gonna
mean,
be
there's
really
only so
annoying
much
for
we
me.
can talk about games they
Yeah,
haven't announced.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
like
That's
we've talked
like
about this
that's my
before.
issue about it. Like that's
Yeah,
my only issue about it, at least. Obviously I'd really like to see something in like June or July, like at
dude,
least a
so
direct.
bad.
I would love to just see a trailer of Bayonetta 3 or Metroid Prime 4 or even a release date. That's all I ask. Because it's been like really kind of dead for a while. Like we haven't heard a whole lot, like as we kind of touched on last episode too. Like those two games especially, I just wanted to really hear about them. And like I never really expected Breath of the Wild 2 to come out in 2020. I expected that as like a late 2021 title.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
like I mean, man, it hurts. It hurts. And like even for you, like for 3D World Deluxe, like, I get it, it's just a port, but like, we could maybe have to wait until like late holiday or like, 2021 for like that title.
It's more than just a port, man. It's something I've wanted for years. No, I mean it is just a port. Like I'm not gonna cry about it, but it does hurt. Like I'm not gonna say it doesn't hurt. It's annoying. It's disheartening, and
Yep.
it's one of those times where like I'm like, well, like you look at the other companies, like even companies that have been impacted by this virus. Like look at Ubisoft. Ubisoft had a game literally called Rainbow Six Quarantine, which was supposed to release like March, like
Yeah.
literally like March, and then they ended up delaying it anyway. But the thing is, like,
Mm.
it, like a lot of other companies have been impacted by this, but Ubisoft, yeah, Ubisoft, perfect example. They just announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and we got not actually gameplay, but they called it gameplay at that Xbox thing, which is that's a funny story. We'll talk about that later. But like, it's hard for me to think that Nintendo doesn't have these games, or at least one of them, finished because like like I don't know. It's very confusing because they were like, if we are going, hey, coronavirus wouldn't like didn't happen, and they were going to have like all these trailers and stuff ready for June anyway, then that would mean that the games would have to be ready to be shown off at that point as well for like demos and stuff. So it feels like, while yeah, they've definitely been impacted by coronavirus, the majority of these games have been completed because coronavirus only you know started impacting work, at least in Japan, I think, in like a late March. So, and it's not like, from late March to June, they were going to be doing half of the game. I mean, most of the game
Yeah.
should already be done. So it's just, um, I don't even know what to say. It's very confusing. I feel like we've basically just been complaining that there's no direct. So I do want to get into like what you think they could
Yeah.
do instead of that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, as of
yeah,
right now,
I
it's just
just yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. I just want to be clear that we're not like complaining over the fact, because like we're not trying to be inconsiderate about this entire coronavirus thing, because
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
this is really
100%.
serious. Like I just wanted to be clear about that. For anyone that kind of had that sense of judgment, but
Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
even think
no,
about that. Yeah.
yeah, we're not being inconsiderate at all. We're just kind of like disappointed, you know, just want kind of life to be back to normal. But
Yeah. I mean, this is
talk
such a
about yeah,
small
go
like
ahead.
the Nintendo stuff right now is such a small inconsequential part of life compared to everything going on right
Mm,
now.
yeah,
So I just, yeah, I want to make that clear. Like, as much as I like meme about like, oh, I need my 3D World port, obviously, you know, stay safe out there. Like, that is the most important thing. Please try not to, please try to maintain social distancing, all that stuff. I don't want to, yeah, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter get mad at other people, like, how are you
yes,
complaining there's no direct right
yep,
now? There's literally people dying. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but like, I feel like you can talk about Nintendo stuff without being inconsiderate about other stuff. But yeah,
yeah,
good,
yep,
great job catching me there. I would just want to make sure we're, you
yep,
know,
yep,
covering our bases.
yep. So talk about what they could do. Instead, I mean, they could technically do another direct mini, I suppose. Or I mean, they could even just like announce like a game. Like if they just announce like again, like I said, if they just put a release date out of like, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, release or announced 3D World Deluxe, put a title out for Breath of the Wild 2, um, maybe said what their plans for like future 3D Mario games would be, 35th anniversary announcement, Galaxy 3, like there's a lot of stuff they could announce, like whatever, they're obviously planning to do over at Nintendo, but I would just like to see an announcement and just, whenever they're ready or whenever the world is ready, to go back to normal, um, to, obviously have a direct, whenever,
Yeah,
um,
for
yeah,
sure. Something I do want to mention is that this rumor that stated there will be no direct until August or something, this rumor actually stemmed from Nintendo telling third-party, companies that were relying on their game being shown off in the direct, that won't be happening. So it is still possible that Nintendo could have a direct and exclusively show off first
yep,
party stuff.
yep,
This
good
is
point.
actually kind of plays into our theory that they would be doing a Mario specific direct that was kind of the focal
Yes,
point of the last podcast. Because obviously, if Nintendo's doing a Mario specific direct, they do not need approval from any other company, unless somehow they were doing another Ubisoft like Rabbids type spin-off, but that's not even remotely close to what we're talking about here with the remasters. So that's a can of worms for another day. If Nintendo is going to do a Mario Direct, they don't need
yep.
to wait for Ubisoft to approve for them to show off a game, or they don't need to wait for Bethesda to approve for them to show off a game. So it's still possible. Don't lose all hope that we won't be getting any Nintendo news until August, but
But don't
yeah,
expect something huge at
yeah,
the same time. I don't think, at least.
100%. We're
Yep.
we're just we're just in that limbo state. You got to just kind of take it a day, a week at a time, and hope for the best, but don't get disappointed if we don't get anything.
Yep. So yeah, I think we touched all points on that pretty well.
Yeah, fair
Yep.
enough. Do you
Okay,
want to jump
so
into
we
the
can move
questions?
on. Yeah, we can definitely move on to our new segment, which is going to be the fan questions from you guys. In the last
Awesome.
episode, we talked about wanting you guys to ask us questions that we would answer on the podcast, tweeting to us or just commenting on the video uploaded on the Switch Stop channel. So if you are a listener from Spotify or Apple Music specifically, you can definitely hit us up at our Twitter at Nintendo Tonight. Ask us questions there. Just even at Nintendo Tonight, just asking a question, and I'll definitely see it. And we'll probably talk about it in an upcoming episode. So we have a list of questions here. So we'll just kind of answer them here, and some of them are longer answers, some of them are shorter answers, but we're gonna try to get through all of them. So first up, what are your overall thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3? Now, I'll answer first. I have not played it. I really liked the first Luigi's Mansion game on the GameCube, obviously. Pretty fun. Just haven't really got to it. I don't know. The next Switch game I think I'm going to buy is Animal Crossing. But, yeah, I might
Yeah.
get to it, later next year or something. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
not interested.
I think it's a great $40 game. I don't think it was worth $60, but that's just me. And that question came from Ethan Mastercrafter.
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
forgot about that. Oops. Oh,
yeah,
there
no,
you go.
it's all good. But I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not super into puzzle games, and I also, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite, but the animation in that game, I'll give them that. That was incredible. The graphics in that game, I think it's one of the best looking Switch games. Alexandrite, sorry if I butchered that, said, "Who are your favorite content creators?" Um, in terms of Nintendo, I'm a huge fan of Scott the Woz. I really like his videos. Uh, there's a bunch of like music YouTube creators I listen to, QMU or QMU. I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. Insane in the Rain or Carlos does incredible jazz music stuff. And PJ, I know you watch mostly other
Yeah.
YouTubers, not Nintendo stuff. Do you want to?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I watch a lot of Twitch, so I'm into streamers kind of like XQC, and I like to watch like esports from like Counter-Strike Global Offensive and just like games like that, Rocket League, stuff like that. And for Nintendo creators, I don't watch a lot of Nintendo videos, I'm gonna be honest, other than our own. But sometimes I watch Arlo's videos and even a friend of the channel, Saros videos, I like his as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for what I kind of watch on YouTube, because I like to
Yeah.
watch like ESPN replays and stuff and like just their talk shows and all that. So
course, yeah.
Gonna away from content creation, but anyway, there you have it. Next
Yeah.
question for yep. Next question from Zach Thomas asking, could you do this live? So when we first planned this out, we kind of agreed that it would be live, but talking to Thomas, obviously we just kind of decided that would not be a very good idea. So we kind of thought, once every 5 episodes, or I don't know what the number would be, but just once in a while we would do a live episode, maybe have a guest on and talk to the chat and just got that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, jumping into these rapid fire from Skylar Head Ticky. I butchered that so bad.
I think it's
If
something European, but we apologize.
Yeah, I have
It's
no idea.
it's tough.
If Mario 3D World Deluxe has online, will you play with viewers? Yeah, I mean, if that game has online, I'll do streams for it, and even if it doesn't, I'll probably just do a let's play just because so many people want to see me play that game because I've talked about it for so much. So yeah.
Yep. So next question from Hack Blickdy or Blixty? Blixty. Yeah, Blixty. There you go. How often will these be? Will they all be uploaded to YouTube? So we're looking to upload them every 2 weeks. We talked about that in the beginning of the podcast. And yes, they will all be uploaded to YouTube on the Switch Stop channel, along with little highlight clips on the Nintendo Tonight channel. And you can also find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for now.
Yeah. Question coming in from Dakota X04. I have a question for you guys about Amiibo. Do you guys collect Amiibo, and do you guys think that there will be any more Amiibo coming out? That's an interesting question, Dakota. The state of Amiibo is kind of, up in limbo. It's all up to Nintendo. If it were up to me, I'd think that no. However, the recent Animal Crossing Amiibo card craze might have them reproducing some of those to, meet demand. And just in terms of me personally, I never got into collecting Amiibo, although I do have about 8 of just the original Smash Bros. Series Amiibo, just because they look cool. But yeah, I mean, I have like Inkling from like the Splatoon set because I was super into Splatoon on the Wii U, but I really don't have much at all.
Yeah, when Smash 4 came out, I bought a Yoshi amiibo just to kind of test out the concept, but like I I forgot about amiibo. I'm going to be completely honest. Like the only one I would consider buying is, like Mewtwo cuz Mewtwo is my favorite Pokemon, or if there's any like if Sora is announced for DLC, I will definitely be copping that amiibo just for like Sora cuz I'm just obsessed with like Kingdom Hearts kind of music and just Sora the character and all that. So I think
Gotcha. Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But the actual amiibo concept, I just don't really care for. So moving on, next question from Matthew Salton saying, "What are your guys' opinion or thoughts about the development of these Mario remakes / Mario Odyssey 2? Remember, the texture for Delfino Island is on the globe next to the Odyssey, but is it colored out blue to match the ocean? Do you think perhaps Nintendo was planning to make a Delfino Island Kingdom in Odyssey and then scrap the idea for Odyssey 2?" So
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean, I think
you're
they
a bigger
definitely
Odyssey
were.
fan, so yeah, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, I think they definitely were at some point. It was even on some of the promotional art for that game, if you remember and look back.
Mm.
I just think they either scrapped the game. I think they scrapped the idea, or not even the idea. I think they scrapped the kingdom of Delfino Island or Plaza or whatever they were going to do. And I think that's just going to be in Odyssey 2. I was part of the Delfino Plaza, DLC for Mario Odyssey train for a while, but I just do not think that's going to happen anymore.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think
I think it'll come
yeah,
in
I
two.
think that would be pretty awesome. I mean, like I'm a big Sunshine fan. I think it would be a fun little concept. I wish it was, DLC and Odyssey, but we didn't get that. So if Odyssey 2 is a thing, which we can assume it will be eventually, I hope to see some sort of Delfino / Sunshine representation.
All right, question for you specifically, PJ, from No Noah 9. Hey PJ, what is your favorite Mario game? I mean, I know Thomas's favorite one is 3D World, in parentheses, who doesn't? But I don't know. What's yours?
Definitely Mario Sunshine. I had a lot of memories with that game. Good times with my friend AG, which, if you guys don't know, I used to do my old channel with him back in the Smash 4 days, but definitely Sunshine, and I don't really think that's close. I mean, I really liked, games like Mario Hoops, Mario Strikers especially, but definitely Sunshine takes the cake for me.
Yeah, and then last couple of questions here. We got Supermatic64 saying thoughts on the PC port of Super Mario 64. I mean, I think we both think it's cool, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't really impact us much at all.
Yep. Yep.
Brief Gamer Up said, "What are your predictions for the ninth?" But I'm assuming they meant eighth because that's next in line.
Yep.
Smash DLC character. I'm sticking with Rayman, but that's more of a I want
Ooh.
instead of I think
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I mean, Rayman is a great choice, I think, for like the character after the Arms character, which we obviously don't know the name of yet. But yeah, Rayman for me or Sora, as I mentioned just a bit earlier. Um, yeah, definitely those two. Really cool characters I wanted for a long time, and hope to see them in this pass.
All right. And then a last question here from Jameson saying, "Why has Nintendo abandoned Super Mario Maker 2 and even announced as much? My understanding is it sold better than the first game on Wii U, 4 million versus 5 million, and counting. Such an evergreen title on a growing install base, and Nintendo declares this is the final update. Goodbye, get out." Yeah, I mean, that's why it was so surprising for a lot of people. And there are a lot of Mario Maker fans who seem to be in denial that it is the final update. If you check literally anywhere on the internet, including my Mario Maker video, people are pissed because I was like, "Yep, no more content," and they were like, "No." But yeah, I mean, I think Nintendo expected it to sell more. Mario Maker on the Wii U was such an astounding breakout hit. I mean, if you think about it, it was a small little level creator. It really wasn't supposed to be much. You couldn't make, I mean, you could make complex levels, but you couldn't make anything like insane. You were still 100% within the sandbox that Nintendo provided you, and that game sold 4 million units on a dying Wii U. So I think Nintendo expected, hey, we're making this game so much better with the sequel. It's going on the Switch, which is obviously had way more sales than the Wii U. I think Nintendo just overall expected it to do a lot better, and it didn't. And so they're kind of just dipping out. Because I mean, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe still has sold millions of copies more than Mario Maker 2. It's like
Yeah, it's crazy.
that's crazy, man. That's
Crazy, yeah, agreed.
yeah.
I didn't really play Mario Maker 2, but I'm sad for the fans that this is the final update. We made a video before talk about how like you could have other items from other like games you could cross over with because we had the Zelda update to come into Mario Maker, how you could
Mhm.
be Link and
Yeah.
have a bow and arrow and all that, and we said Metroid and different Splatoon items and stuff like that. So a little disappointing for those fans, but maybe they can try making Mario Maker 3 in 2023 or 4 and see how it does then. But I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be it for the kind of question segment, and we can just kind of transition to the outro here. Thank you guys for all the support on the first episode. It was kind of crazy. We have over 400 listens on the first episode across just Spotify and Apple Music, and obviously there's over 10,000 views on the first episode on Switch Stop. So we just like to really thank you guys for that and all the positive ratings you guys gave us on Apple and all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this in the works for a while, and obviously we knew it was never gonna like perform as well as an actual video. But the fact that you guys left so many comments, DM'd us like kind words about it, it means a lot. So thank you guys all so much. If you think, hey, like they're a big channel, they probably won't care if like I leave a nice comment. Like we see it, we do, and we really appreciate it, and we try to respond to as many as we can.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
I mean that's
before
pretty
we
much
end
it.
it off here, and I'll give it back to you to kind of end off the episode. For episode 3, we will have a special guest, which we're not going to announce right now, but we will when we get closer to the recording date. And obviously, these first 2 recordings, or just like the first 2 uploads of the 2 episodes, we're very close together, but we don't want you guys to expect that because we're going to need some time in between. So an episode is going to come out every 2 weeks. So when that time does get closer, we will announce the special guest for episode 3. But yeah, so I'll give it back to you for that.
Yeah, I mean, with that out of the way, thank you guys all so much for listening. That's pretty much it. That was the second ever episode of Nintendo Tonight.